Hi Year 10, I've put together this little video tutorial to try and help you a little bit more with the essay that was set about the effectiveness of the opening. So I know you probably wrote the intro in class, but I'm just going to run through this again. Intros are always the same regardless of the text we are studying. And in actual fact, it doesn't really matter what order you do these in, but these are the three things I would like you to do in every intro you write. So the first thing is to answer the question. When I say answer the question, I mean in a very general, basic term. What this does is it signposts what the rest of your essay is going to be about. Secondly, just take a few moments to explain the scene or the section the essay is based on. Okay, so show you understand the scene that is being analysed by explaining it. And finally, explore the theme. Each essay title can be pretty much boiled down to one idea. This time it's openings. Next week it might be explore the theme of supernatural. It might be power. In an Inspector Calls, it could have been gender or class. So explore what that theme means to you. So I'm just going to go into this in a little bit more detail, and Ollie asked for some sentence starters, so I'm including this in this section too. So when I say answer the question today is, how effective is the opening to the play? So you can turn that round into your answer. Very simply, turn this into a statement. The opening to Macbeth is effective because, and then give me some reasons. Number 2, explain the scene the essay is based on. So for that, I'm simply looking for you to show me that you understand what happens in the scene, who is in the scene, where is it set, and anything else that's relevant to the particular section of text that we are analysing. And then 3, I've explained this already, but explore the theme. The best way you can do this, if you look on the left here, is to put your essay title at the top of your page and then think to yourself, right, what is this essay about? Here, it's about openings. So then go on and tell me something about openings. Okay, so tell me, why are openings important? Why do they need to be engaging? What happens if they aren't? You've got to remember this is a play, this is a piece of drama. So think about when you sit down to watch a film or go to the theatre. Those first few moments of action on stage are important in grabbing your attention. So explain a little bit about that. Okay, so that's the intro out of the way. For this essay, I want 3 main points from you. I want you to tell me how the opening is effective in terms of the setting, the characters, and the language used. What I'm going to do is show you a way of structuring this response in relation to setting. I'm not doing this for all 3 points because this is just a way you can organise your ideas and you can use this model for the other 2 points. So, if I'm going to be writing about setting in my first point, the first thing I want to do is explain what the setting is and where it is. I want to talk about it in terms of physically. What setting is it? Our setting is a heath. When I talk about the temporal setting, I'm talking about the time. Well, we know roughly that Shakespeare wrote this in around 1600s. So we know this is an olden time setting. Don't refer to any of the film versions. We are only analysing the text. And then you're going to talk about how it's described. That's the first thing you're going to do in that point. Second thing you're going to do is talk about why all the things you talked about in number 1 are effective. So what are the connotations or the associations with that setting that's been used? How do the characters behave in that setting? And how does this help create mood or atmosphere? Once you've done that, your only job really is to talk about audience response. So what emotions does that setting evoke? Is there anything about the social or historical context that help our understanding of the setting? Now, I'm going to show you how this works in an example. I'm not going to use Macbeth because I will be writing your essay for you. So what I'm going to do is take one of my favourite books, The BFG by Roald Dahl. I'm not going to read these out. You can pause the tutorial and have a look at what I've done. So in this section, I'm talking about what and where the setting is. You can see that my answers here are 4 sentences. 3 sentences. That's all I've written. So pause that and have a read. My next section, I've talked about why this is effective, and I've answered those questions up there, look, in the box. Little bit more detail here. This is 1, 2, 3, 4 sentences, but I've tried to go into detail. I've tried to explain myself thoroughly. Pause that and give it a read. And then finally, number 3, I've answered these questions here. How my audiences respond. And I've tried to think about when this book was written in the 80s. Now, you won't know this, but I know from being an old man that care homes and orphanages in the 80s weren't always safe for children. So I've included that in my response. Pause that and give it a read. Okay, so when I put all this together, you can see that's quite a substantial amount of text. When I put this together with 2 other points in my intro, that's going to be the basis of a fairly decent essay. Again, I'm not going to read that for you. You can pause it and read it. You can use some of my sentence starters. You can use any of my vocab that you like. But this is the kind of length that I want you to go into. And you'll remember from our study of an inspector calls that sometimes your points are maybe 3 or 4 sentences long, which probably suggests you haven't developed your ideas in enough detail. So that's it. That's my tutorial for you. If you want to use my little model there, okay, and take character and language and apply those into those boxes, that would be a really good way to plan. Okay, so you just change that. What or who are the characters? Why are those characters effective? How my audiences respond to those characters, and the same for language. Okay, so my final comments to you are, go for this, take risks. You play it too safe in your essays. Maybe you're afraid of my red pen, maybe you're afraid of low grades, but you shouldn't be, because all the ideas you came up with today in class and every time we annotate together in class are superb. Level 6, easy, some of the stuff you come out with. Today in class, you came out with things about Macbeth that in 10 years of teaching, I've never once heard said. Really top stuff. This has to transfer to your writing, because if it does, we're going to ace this and you're going to get great grades. Good luck. If you need any more help, give me a shout.